Alright, I see a couple of people still trying to join in. I'm going to keep letting them in. But in the meanwhile, everyone who's already here, hi, good morning. Could you take up the chat box and tell me whether you are a parent or a student joining, and what grade you are from, and what city you are from? So tell me if you're a parent or a student, if you're a grade 9, grade 10 student, and what city you are from. Are you from Mumbai, Pune, Chennai? Where are you from? Tell me state, city, so that we know where we have people from. Okay, Arnav, you're a student joining from Pune and you're in grade 9. Excellent. Parent of a grade 9 student from Jamshedpur. Alright. Grade 10. Cool. Student 9, Bangalore. Alright. Okay. Alright. Student from Ahmedabad. Okay. Alright. Grade 10, Ahmedabad. Got it. Gurugram, grade 10. Student from Kerala, grade 10. I have a lot of grade 10 students today. That's excellent. Okay. Alright. Awesome. Student from grade 11, Rajkot. Alright. Welcome. Welcome to the call. Okay, alright, those who just joined in, welcome. We were waiting for a couple of more people to join in, and in the meanwhile, we took up the chat box to talk about whether we are a grade 10 or a grade 11 student, the standard that we are in, the grade that we are in, the city that we are from, and whether we are a parent or a student joining in. Alright, okay, now that I know that I have a lot of grade 10, grade 11 students, a couple grade 9 as well, let's get to it. Today we are going to be talking about something that's important, whether you believe it or not. It's time to talk about all the different countries and all the different ways in which you can look at education. We are decoding a bunch of different study abroad destinations, including your favorites and including some really new entrants in the game. Welcome to what I like to call the Ultimate Study Abroad Showdown. My name is Dhara. I am one of the chief mentors here at Clever Havi, and I have seen students choose universities sometimes on absolute whim and sometimes on absolute calculation. And no brownie points to guess which ones do better, right? A calculated guess is always a better, calculated choice is always a better option than just going on a whim and fancy. So today we are going global. We're going to break down what it actually looks like to apply to top destinations like US, Canada, Australia, and more. And by the end of the session, I promise, you'll start thinking of this journey as overwhelming and start seeing it as doable. Now, here's the thing. Study abroad isn't just about crossing borders, right? It's about expanding options and mindset and looking into your future in a different way. So, truth is, no two countries follow the same rule book. Each of the countries has its own system, its style, the opportunities they present. So choosing where to go isn't just about the rankings, it's about the fit, it's about finances, and it's also about considering your long-term goals. Now this session is to give you clarity and maybe even a bit of excitement about the possibilities ahead, about the kind of options that you have available for yourself. So whether you are dreaming of ivy covered walls, city campuses, or co-op programs, or even kangaroos in your campus, let's dive in and decode what global future could look like for us. Right. The first thing that I want to talk about is, of course, the fact that we have a global menu at our disposal. On one side, we have the big four, the tried and tested favorites, USA, Canada, Australia. These are the destinations, right, that have built a reputation over the years. They have told us and they've asked us what kind of opportunities you want, and they've given us those kind of opportunities over the years. Now, these are spaces with world-class universities, diverse student population, and a massive range of courses. Now, most students start their journey looking at one of these in general. But in the last few years, we've seen a real shift. Students and parents are opening up to emerging destinations like Germany, Singapore, Netherlands. And these countries bring a mix of affordability, very strong academics, and unique post-study opportunities as well. And these are climbing fast on the global education charts. So in today's session, we're not just going to look at where students can go, but we are also looking at where you can thrive. Let's start decoding destination by destination. The first one that we are looking at is, of course, USA. When people think of studying abroad, United States is often the first name that comes to mind, and with good reason. It truly is the land of opportunities, especially when it comes to education. Even with the current political scenarios, it does present really good opportunities to students who are looking at diverse learning opportunities. Now, from Ivy League to tech giants like MIT and Stanford, to historically renowned institutions like the Harvard and Columbia, US is home to some of the top ranked universities in the world. Now, beyond just the rankings, there is a sheer variety of academic programs available and the freedom to explore multiple disciplines and the strong emphasis on research and innovation. So, for students looking for careers in STEM, the US offers something called OPT, which is called Optional Practical Training, which means you could get up to 3 years of work authorization after your degree. As per current rules, it's 3 years. That's a huge bonus when you're looking to gain international experience right after your graduation. And of course, being in close proximity to places like the Silicon Valley or financial hubs like New York gives students access to some of the most competitive and exciting job markets in the world. Yes, tuition and living costs can be slightly on the higher side, but for many students, the return on investment in terms of career growth and global exposure makes it a powerful option. Now, let's take a deeper dive into what studying in the US actually looks like in terms of cost, academics, and life on campus. To begin with, the cost of education typically ranges from around 30 to 60 lakhs per year, depending on the university and the program that you choose. Add to that living expenses, which can fall anywhere between 10 to 20 lakhs annually, especially if you're living in cities like New York, Boston, or LA. That said, many universities offer very generous scholarships. Some are need blind, where your finances aren't even considered during admissions, while some are merit based, awarded for holding very strong academics and exceptional profiles. You'll find globally renowned institutions like I said, UC Berkeley, Stanford, MIT, just to name a few, and they offer some of the most cutting edge programs out there. Degrees typically run for 4 years, with the academic calendar starting in August, ending around May. For those looking at post-study opportunities, I already mentioned there is a 1 year or a 3 year work visa under OPT, depending on whether you're a STEM or a non-STEM student. This gives you the opportunity to grab real-world experience in some of the world's most competitive job markets. In terms of difficulty, admissions are definitely competitive. We'd rate it around 8 out of 10, but the job prospects and post-study pathways make it a solid 9 out of 10. Top industries hiring international graduates usually in this country include tech, business, healthcare, as well as media. You can also work part-time, 20 hours a week is allowed on campus, which helps with both exposure as well as managing your budgeting. And of course, living in the US means you're immersed in highly global, dynamic culture, no language barriers, and a lot of diversity, with an education system that's designed to make you think really, really independently. When you look at US admissions, there are a couple of things to keep in your mind. So let's talk about US admissions process. This is where things look really different from what many of us are used to. In India, even in the UK, admissions are usually very exam driven, right? You take the test, you meet the cutoff, and that's it. But in the US, the approach is way more holistic. What that means is, yes, academics matter, but they're just one part of a bigger picture. Colleges want to understand who you are beyond just the grades. They look at your extracurriculars. They look at the kind of activities that you've been involved in, the kind of essays that you write, the depth that you show in these essays. They also look at the recommendations from your teachers and even tiny things like how you've shown intent or leadership. So instead of asking, what's your score? They're usually asking, what's your story? And that makes US system both exciting and honestly a little overwhelming at times, because students have to present themselves as a whole person, not just as a set of marks. That's about US. Moving on to the next biggie, which is the United Kingdom. This is a destination where centuries old traditions meet a very modern, very global student experience. One of the biggest advantages of studying in the UK is its time efficient degree structure. Most undergraduate programs are just 3 years long, and master's programs typically wrap up in 1 year, which makes it both cost effective as well as career efficient. You're also eligible for the graduate route visa, which allows you to work in the UK for around 2 years after your degree, giving you the chance to build international work experience and explore the job market there. Of course, UK is home to some of the world's most prestigious institutions like the Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial College. But beyond these names, here's a wide range of universities that combine rigorous academics with innovating teaching skills and a strong career outcome. What's also worth noting is that the studying in UK opens doors to opportunities across Europe, especially in global industries like business, policy making, finance, healthcare, as well as design. That said, tuition and living costs, especially in cities like London, can be slightly on the higher side. But again, the shorter duration of degrees, strong job opportunities, and focused academics make it a solid investment for most families. Okay. Let's dive deeper into the UK. When it comes to blending academic depth and global exposure, UK holds its grounds as one of the most respected education hubs. Tuition fees typically range between 20 to 30 lakhs per year, while living expenses hover around 9 to 15 lakhs depending on the city, with London, of course, being on the higher end of the scale. For those looking at financial support, there are standout scholarships available, like the Chevening Scholarship or the Great Scholarship, and a range of university-specific awards that students can apply for based on merit or background. The academic experience itself is intense and pretty focused. So you've got top-tier institutions like I mentioned, LSE, Oxford, Cambridge, but also a wide range of universities offering very innovative, very industry-aligned programs. Most degrees finish in 3 years, like we mentioned. The academic year runs from September to June. Graduates are eligible for a 2-year post-study work visa, like I mentioned, under the graduate route, giving them time to explore job markets or apply for longer-term opportunities. Admissions are reasonably competitive, about, let's say, 7 out of 10, and so are job prospects, especially in areas like finance, law, creative arts, and data sciences. Students face no language barriers, of course, can work 20 hours a week during their term time, and experience a high quality of life, whether they are studying in the historic city campus like University of Edinburgh, or enjoying the charm of a country scenic side university like University of Bath. UK truly offers a range of experiences, both academically as well as culturally, depending on the kind of setting that you thrive in. Moving on to the admissions process in the UK, it is pretty much driven through a portal called UCAS. It is a centralized application system. Now, a key thing to remember is that you only submit one application, but with that one application, you can apply to 5 different choices. That means you, from the get-go, need to be very strategic about selecting your universities and your courses. A big highlight in the UK admissions is your personal statement. It's a 4,000 character statement where you get to explain why this course and why these colleges are a good fit for you. Now, your school and your teachers will also submit a predicted grade, which plays a very huge role in whether you get shortlisted or not. Most offers that you receive are conditional, meaning universities will say, we'll take you if you achieve certain grades. Timeline-wise, applications open somewhere in September, and the deadline to submit your applications is January. The final acceptances and decisions usually come out by May or June. That's the UK for you. Talking about the Down Under, we are going to Australia, a country that's increasingly becoming a hot favorite for international students. This is a destination where laid-back lifestyle meets academic excellence. And what makes it even more attractive in recent years is how student visa policies have become way more flexible. Although yes, there are caveats and conditions to meet. Now, students are allowed 20 hours a week during their term time, which is not uncommon, like other countries allowed it too. Now, this helps with finances but also builds early work experience among students. And after graduation, post-study work visa can range anywhere from 2 years to 4 years, depending on the level of your degree and the city that you're in. Regional areas often offer longer stays. Beyond academics, Australia consistently ranks high in quality of life. Clean cities, multicultural campuses, real emphasis on student safety and well being, all of this is available with Australia. If you're someone who's looking for a mix of career opportunities, lifestyle, and flexibility, Australia might be worth paying attention to. Okay? Diving deeper into how Australia works, it brings a lot to the table, not just academically, but in terms of student experience as well. The cost of education usually ranges from 18 to 30 lakhs a year, while living expenses typically fall between 10 to 12 lakhs annually. So while it's not the cheapest destination, it does offer good value, especially with the strong post-study options. There are also scholarships like Destination Australia Award and various Vice Chancellor scholarships that international students can apply for. Usually these are based on academic merit or regional placements. Some of the top universities include University of Sydney, Melbourne, Australian National University, all of which are globally recognized for research as well as for their teaching pedagogy. After graduation, you can stay and work in Australia for 2 to 4 years, depending on what degree you pursue and where. Regional campuses generally offer you longer stays. In terms of admissions, it is more accessible compared to other destinations. I would rate the difficulty about 5 out of 10. But job prospects are super solid, around 8 out of 10, especially in areas like engineering, hospitality, healthcare, and even marine biology, thanks to Australia's unique geography and ecosystem. The academic calendar starts in February, usually runs through November, and degrees are typically 3 or 4 years long depending on the course and the university that you choose. There's no language barrier at all, and students can work up to 24 hours a week during term time. It depends on which city your university is located. Ideally, it's 20 hours. Sometimes it moves up to 24 hours. The overall quality of life in Australia, the overall quality of life is the biggest strength in Australia. And outdoor-friendly, culturally diverse campuses are built for balance. You get a serious education without losing the sunshine. Speaking of, we are moving on to Canada. Let's head north to one of the most student-friendly and future-forward countries, Canada. Often called the welcoming nation, Canada has quickly become a top choice for international students, not only because the quality of education is superb, but also because the opportunities it offers after graduation. What really stands out is the postgraduate work permit, which can go up to 3 years currently. Of course, subject to changes, but currently it's at 3 years. And it gives students time to gain work experience, explore a lot of different career paths, and build a long-term future there if that's what their intention is. In fact, Canada often offers one of the most clearest pathways to permanent residency as well amongst all study abroad destinations. In terms of finances, it's often a lot more affordable than the US, both in terms of tuition and living costs, while still offering the world-class university and globally recognized degrees that US offers as well. Perhaps one of its biggest strengths is the multicultural safe environment, with cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal that feel truly global, yet deeply community-driven. So if you're looking for a country that combines academic strength, post-study security, and a welcoming vibe, Canada might be worth considering. Diving deeper into how it works, starting with finances, the cost of education typically ranges from around 15 to 30 lakhs a year, depending on what course and university. Living costs are slightly lower than the US, usually sitting around 8 to 12 lakhs annually, depending on the city again. And there are some really cool scholarships available as well. One of the most well-known is the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship from University of Toronto, which is fully funded. Plus, many universities like McGill and UBC offer their own merit-based as well as need-based financial aid. Top universities like we've been speaking include UBC, McGill, Toronto, all of which are highly ranked globally and known for their strong academics and research. Once you graduate, you are eligible for a post-study work visa of up to 3 years, which opens up a lot of career opportunities and immigration opportunities as well. In fact, a lot of students use Canada as a bridge between good degree and potential permanent residency. In terms of admissions, I'd say the difficulty is around 6 out of 10, very achievable with a very solid academic background and a clear application. The job market here is solid, about 8 out of 10, especially in industries like business, AI, healthcare, and environmental sciences. The academic year usually runs from September to April, and most undergraduate degrees are 4 years long. There are no language barriers in most spaces. Part time jobs are allowed for 20 hours a week, and overall, the quality of life is one of Canada's biggest selling points. Its safe, inclusive and consistently healthy environment is ranked amongst most immigrant-friendly countries in the world. So, if you're looking at an overview of how things work, here is your metric. This is a comparison of USA, Canada, UK, and Australia, the biggies. These are the living costs and the way that the degrees run, the usual run time for the degrees, and the job prospects and the difficulty of getting admissions in different degrees. Okay? If you want to remember this for future references, you can take a screenshot so that you can make a learned decision in terms of which destination works the best for you. Alright, cool. I'm going to take a quick pause here and I'm going to let you put questions in the chat box if you have any so that I can answer them for you, and then we'll move ahead to other destinations. We've covered the big fours. If you have any questions so far, very happy to answer them in the chat box. How easy is the visa to get in these countries? Which are the easiest student visas? Well, if you have your offer letters, if you have your acceptance letters, then getting student visa is really easy. There are certain countries where the wait time is longer, like the US. You also need to give an interview. There are certain countries where the wait time is shorter, like Australia. So, very pretty easy to get the visas. Australia and Canada are shutting doors for India. They have stricter visa requirements. Yes, they do have stricter visa requirements compared to the visa requirements before. So it's not that they've suddenly shut the doors. It's just that the requirements have become a little more stringent. But if you have an offer letter, they do let you apply for the visa. It's just that the hoops that you have to jump might increase. So you might have to give a visa interview as well. You might have to give a proof of your IELTS score as well. So the requirements have increased, but doors are pretty much open. What are the entry requirements for each of these countries in terms of visa? You do need to give your IELTS. You need to have an IELTS score. Usually a band 7 or a 7.5 and above would be really useful. Apart from that, there are a couple of paperwork requirements that you have to submit, something that we can discuss in depth depending on the country that you're looking at. More questions? Are SAT score valid for all of the countries? SAT is very much recognized in US, Canada, as well as Australia, Singapore as well. UK does not typically ask for SAT. UK is not some place that asks for SAT. What all competitive exams are needed? SAT, APs. APs is a very US specific requirement. So if you have APs, it is recognized in the US. One exception to this is Singapore. Singapore also recognizes APs. In fact, for certain colleges, it is mandatory for you to have at least 3 APs under your belt. SAT and APs again are very US specific. APs are not considered in Australia or any other countries. You'll have to probably be academically stronger. A-level score requirements depends from city to city, depends from course to course. Rank these countries on basis of future job and life security. The rankings on my screen. Okay, how much are academics and top extracurriculars rated in universities which matter more? Cool question. So your academics are always going to be important, right? Extracurricular depends on the kind of field that you're choosing. There are certain fields where extracurriculars become super important, your exposure becomes super important, and there are certain fields where it isn't that important. You know what? That's a very cool question. I genuinely do want to dive deeper into that question, and for that reasons, I'm going to give you a form to fill up. You can fill up this form and you can have a one-on-one consultation with one of our counselors to understand what kind of requirement is required in what kind of field. Okay, here's the link to the form. Anybody who wants specific information about the kind of majors that they're looking at, about the kind of countries that they're looking at, trying to understand which country has what kind of restrictions and rules, I'd suggest you can fill this form up. It'll be super useful for you to talk with one of our consultants and understand it in depth. Most needed professions, come on, that's like a given. Any humanities profession are going to be super needed. Law and ethics are going to be very, very important considering the rise of AI. Speaking of, AI and computer science are going to be important. Businesses that can integrate very well with AI will be valued more. So you could also be looking at business practices as far as you can integrate them with AI. All right, okay, moving on to the next destinations beyond the big four. Now, US, UK, Canada, Australia do lead the pack, yes. There is a new set of destinations that are catching serious attention, and for all the good reasons. Germany, for instance, is a dream destination for engineering and research students. Public universities often offer like free or very low cost education, and the emphasis on applied learning is very strong. The only thing to keep in mind for Germany is that there is a slight language barrier, especially outside of major cities. Though that's changing more with English taught programs, Germany does come with its caveats, but it is a strong option to consider. Then there's Singapore, the Asia Pacific Business Hub. It is home to globally ranked universities like the NUS and NTU. It is super modern, it's highly modern, it's very fast paced, and offers a multicultural, globally connected environment. It is especially great for students eyeing finance or business or tech careers, specifically within Asia. One more destination that's becoming a hot favorite is Netherlands. It offers a wide range of English taught degrees, strong focus on very good innovation, and it also focuses on careers and courses related to sustainability. The added bonus is that it gives you EU access, which opens up career and travel opportunities across Europe. And beyond individual countries, these regions now host global campuses as well. So UK, US universities giving you familiar academic structure in a more affordable and strategically located setup. Add to this the things that take year-round. Add to this the fact that they take year-round intakes. They have diverse student bases and perks like tax-free internships. And suddenly, this is a whole world of opportunities outside the traditional four. With these kind of destinations on the rise, there are more options for you to explore. There are a bunch of other universities in the European region that have opened doors to a lot of different immigrant students. And there are a lot of different universities that give you the opportunity to explore beyond your traditional paths. Now, if your question in your head is which country is the right one for you, if you're wondering which country is the right one for you, the real question is that there's no one answer fits all. It isn't the same for everyone because it shouldn't be. This decision isn't about picking what sounds most impressive. It's about what aligns more with your journey. Ask yourself a couple of questions before you finalize a country. For example, ask yourself what's your budget, okay? It's not just for tuition, it's also considering your living expenses, the travel expenses, the overall cost of your experience there. What are the kind of expenses that you will be spending on, right? So all of this is a part of your budget. Ask yourself what's your budget and which university, which country fits in that budget. Next up, you should even be considering what your academic goals are. So do you want flexibility in education? Do you want research intensity? Or do you want a career-focused program with exposure to practical onsets? Which one of this is the kind of exposure that you want for yourself, right? Then also ask yourself which industry are you interested in and where are those industries going fastest? You can't be expecting, let's say, marine biology in a European country, which doesn't really have a lot of shoreline, right? So look at the kind of industry that you're interested in, look at the kind of career opportunity that you're interested in, and look at the country where these industries are growing the fastest. That might be the best choice for you. Then understand how comfortable are you with the local language. Is the culture something that you are comfortable becoming a part of? And is the lifestyle of a good fit for you? So, would you thrive in a fast paced city, or do you need a quieter, more supportive environment to grow? Very important consideration to keep in mind when you're choosing your university and when you're choosing your teaching pedagogy. And most importantly, ask yourself, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Okay, very cliched question, right? You hear this question at a lot of interviews, you hear this question in a lot of, I don't know, essays that you might have written in schools, right? But a very, very important question to consider. Once you are done with your postgraduate, once you are done with your undergraduate degree, are you looking at yourself doing a postgraduate degree? Are you looking at yourself working in an industry of that particular interest area, right? So ask yourself where you see yourself from 5 years, and then decide on a country that is the best fit for you. Okay, this is where your passport of possibilities starts becoming a plan. And don't worry, you do not have to do this all by yourself. We are here with you through the entire path. We've helped students get into global universities. These are just few of our students who made it to some of the most competitive universities. So trust me when I tell you that it's not just about grades. These students ended up building compelling profiles, crafted really strong essays, and stayed on top of their timelines. With the right guidance, they turn their ambitions into absolute admissions. Okay, and it doesn't just stop there. Some of our students explored UK, US, Australia, and got into top names across both the systems, across all of the systems. While the UK does demand academic focus and subject clarity, US asks for storytelling along with depth. With personalized support, they tackled each system strategically and they succeeded. And while I know that standing out is not easy, we are here to guide you through it. You've now seen the possibilities across countries, across careers, across real student journeys. Information alone will not get you there. Clarity does, strategy does, and action does. And that's what exactly our profile evaluation consult offers. It's not a generic Google it plan, but a personalized blueprint based on you, your strengths, your goals, and the story that you want to narrate for yourself. So this is where your journey truly begins, with someone guiding you who knows the roadmap inside out. I'm again going to post the link to our consultations. Mind you, the spots for these consults are limited because we go deep with every student. This is just a 2-minute form, but it could be your first real step towards your dream college. So make sure that you register for an in-depth guidance. Oh, you're still stuck on... Is my screen stuck for everybody? Could you give me a thumbs up if you're still, if the screen's still stuck, or if you can see the next one? If you're already done with 10th and you're about to go to 11th, put your grade as 11th. Is this process possible after grade 12? I'm inclined to say no. If you start this process after grade 12th, you will end up taking a gap year. It might not be the worst thing, but generally it's not a preferred route. No good colleges in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. There are a bunch of good options in colleges in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I did not cover it in today's conversation, but if you're super inclined in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, we can have that conversation one-on-one. Do you help with admissions in Singapore and Dubai? Yes, we do. We will help you with admissions in Singapore and Dubai. We will also help you understand what these admission processes look like. Could you share the link again? Absolutely. I'm going to post the link again in the chat box for you to pick it up. Sure, you can ask your parents to fill the link up. However, remember the spots are limited. It is not going to be open for everybody over a long period of time. Does US ask for academic? Learn Genie, I assume. I've already answered. Yes, there are good colleges in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Very happy to have that conversation with you on a one-on-one basis. Fill up the form. Very happy to talk about Dubai and Abu Dhabi colleges with you. I just did not cover it in today's conversation. Today's conversation focused more on other countries. Are AP exams a mandate for the US? No, AP exams are not a mandate for the US, but it's preferred for you to have AP guidance. It is very preferred for you to have AP scores. It turns out that they consider it against academic credit, so it can help you in that way. Which country provides best scholarships? Well, there are a bunch of different countries that provide good scholarships, but overall, I'm inclined to say the US, because they have so many different universities and so many different scholarship opportunities that it turns out that it's one of the best options available. So, US. Alright, if there are no more questions, thank you very much. I hope you filled up the form. I hope that we can get to meet in a one-on-one consult. I hope that we get the chance to guide you even further. But if there are no more questions, this is going to be the end of questions. This is going to be the end of the seminar. Thank you very much for spending your time on this lovely Saturday morning. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you, my pleasure. My pleasure, thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.